What's up, everybody? It's Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
And this week on The Great Debaters, we're talking about one of 2022's best albums, at least according to Amir and me, Vince Staples, Taking It Back. All right, Amir. So we're back here on The Great Debaters. For everybody that hasn't yet, please hit that subscribe button. It's right down there and it's free. That enables us to keep coming to y'all as often as possible with as many interviews and great debaters and commentaries as possible. So please hit that subscribe button, like our content, share it, talk about it, be about it. Each one, teach one. We appreciate your support. And of course, right next to that, you'll notice the join button. Join us as a member. That helps us get to the next level of the game, literally and figuratively. So thank you for those that have joined and supported us through just being a subscriber, but then join us as a member for Unique Access Entertainment, please. Now, Amir, Vince Staples, in my opinion, is the best artist that's emerged since 2010 on. He's phenomenal. One of my favorites now of all time, of course, because he's put in so much work over the years, and I think he's just so underrated, so amazing, so great. Ramona Park broke my heart. What was your first introduction to this album and getting into it?
I feel like some people might be confused with that statement you just made, because when I see these lists of the best rappers from the 2010s and so on and so forth, I usually just see, Kendrick and J. Cole and people like that. So I'm happy that Vince Staples is up there in your belief.
He's above that. He's better.
He's great. He's awesome.
Yes.
And this album just adds to that. It's further proof. So Ramona Park broke my heart. I actually listened to it right when it came out. Both these CDs that Soren and I have, this one was released as a limited edition alternate cover from Target, and then this one was signed, as you can see, but on his box set. So this is a standard cover, but anyways, and we also have
the
vinyl, which is an even different cover. But anyways,
he's a very creative man. He's got a lot of photos he's got to share.
Yeah, he's got his family all up in it. But Ramona Park Broke My Heart is definitely another concept album, which Vince has a few of, and this is about obviously Ramona Park and a lot of just stories of him and family and his surrounding areas, as you'll see on the album and you'll hear in our picks. So I heard this when it came out, and I think it's a very consistent listen through. To pick my favorites, it was a little tough because I think that there weren't a ton of songs that really jumped out and was this is number one, this is number two. I think it was a very solid piece of work. So next week it's gonna change, but first pick here is gonna be A, Free the Homies. One of the first songs on the album. It is track 2, After the Beach, and yeah, I think Vince Staples is, I feel as his career has went on and on, I think you can tell when he started to just become a better writer, particularly starting with Hell Can Wait, and even Nate on Shine Cold Chain 2 and things like that. But Nate, he didn't do the chorus, if I recall, or actually he did do the chorus, but then we had James Fauntleroy on it, etc. But what I'm trying to say is his chorus writing himself, for A, Free the Homies, and just throughout, I think has just gotten better over the years. And I think he is really good at making a catchy chorus. And his verses have traditionally been shorter over the years.
His songs have gotten shorter, too, over the years.
Yeah, and no, seriously, his songs are very short, too. So A, Free the Homies, I think he does just a really good job on the chorus. I think the beat is one of the more, I don't want to say happy beats, but it does feel like summertime a little bit for me, this instrumental. I just am really enjoying it a lot. And yeah, A, Free the Homies, it's just one of those songs that I always go back to on the album. Just it makes me feel good, it puts me in a good place. It's Vince Staples, I like the chorus and I like his verses. And he also shouts out Death Row on it and Suge Knight and whatever. So it's a banger. That's one of my picks.
Free the Homies is not one of my picks, but I like it a lot, as I like basically every song on Ramona Park Broke My Heart. Mine is actually The Beach, which you mentioned, the first song on the album, because it's so short, but it's Vince's rapping, the atmospheric beat I really enjoyed, and it was just okay, Vince is back in the zone. He's starting off strong and everything, and then the song just ends.
It does.
It's very short, and I was just wait a minute. we just got into this album and all of a sudden we're ending. But that type of unexpectedness and excitement for me made me like, wait a minute, I want to hear that again, because the beat I think is great. The atmosphere of it I think is great. Vince is just going off, like doing his blend of street commentary and all this other stuff. And I just felt like, man, this is like Vince Staples coming out hard, word to 8Ball and MJG, but he's just on it like right away. And right there, I was just like, man, the beach, shouting out Long Beach, of course. So I was just like, man, this is a great way to start the album. So I'm rolling with the beach. That's my first pick. Amir, what's your second pick on Vince Staples' Ramona Park Broke My Heart?
So second pick is one of the more popular songs from the album, which would be Lemonade. I think Lemonade is extremely catchy. Once again, like, going on with the chorus here. I think Vince has just gotten better and better with his choruses. Right here where he says nowhere to go when we in the shade, and then nowhere to go when we in the cage, which is a very interesting two lines right there. And then also I just like how he has like the line, and he's shouting out rappers as well. Like in this instance, he shouts out Sugar Free, where he says ain't shit sweet ass sugar free. So it's like, you know, a double entendre in the sense where he's not only talking about lemonade, but he's also talking about, well, ain't shit sweet, and then sugar free. Obviously, you can tell by that line. So I just think that's fairly clever. I think Ty Dolla $ign as well is one of those artists that, as he's featured, he's one of those artists that I'm not going to go ahead and buy a Ty Dolla $ign album by any means, but when I see his feature on an album, I actually typically enjoy his features. I'm almost always looking forward to it. I think his collabs with Vince are always good. Like, Feels Like Summer, I liked Rain Come Down. I like Ty Dolla $ign's contributions outside of Vince Staples as well. So to see them on this song, to see the execution of it, to make it feel like another summer type beat, because this album came out earlier this year, and I bumped this quite a bit through summertime. And on top of that, this is one of those songs that I know even the casual rap fan will enjoy. So it's a really, really, really good song, and I think Vince Staples just knew how to execute like one of the songs that would resonate with a lot of people who aren't like just Vince Staples fans. And I think I just think this is one of those songs where you're able to tell, like, I think he understands the game a bit more, and he understands all that without compromising his style and still being Vince Staples, and I think that's a great example of it, and it's just an awesome song. So that's my second pick.
Lemonade is not my second pick, but it's right next to Lemonade, which is Paper Cuts. This one, Vince Staples, since I first heard him way back in the day, the thing that always impressed me about him is his somberness when he's breaking down certain things that are going on, you know, around him in society, in his relationships with women, whatever it happens to be that he's talking about. And Paper Cuts, to me, was one of those songs where he's revisiting that and doing it in his kind of somber, defeated, melancholy type of flow. And I thought that it worked extremely well, because I also thought, like, the paper cuts, you know, they hurt a little bit, but they add up. And I think that that's kind of what, at least how I interpreted the song. Like, it's all these things that are adding up to what's going on in his frustration that he's dealing with and addressing on Paper Cuts. So I thought it was good. I like the chorus on there too. I do agree. Vince, throughout Ramona Park Broke My Heart, has really good choruses, and that's something I think, you know, you had referenced Nate before, but I think too, really starting with Hell Can Wait in particular, is when the choruses for Vince just went off the charts. And Summertime 06, I think, continued that extremely well, and we've seen throughout the rest of his career. But I do think Ramona Park Broke My Heart has so many really good choruses, and Paper Cuts, Lemonade, The Beach obviously doesn't have one. But, you know, I just think throughout this project, we're seeing him evolve and grow and develop as an artist, to where he's just shifting what he does slightly while staying with the same formula, which is why Paper Cuts ended up being one of my favorite cuts on the album, because it's reminiscent in a lot of ways of what I think the best of Vince Staples is, and it's very emotional as well in his what he's detailing and describing. So that would be my second pick So, Amir, what's your third pick on Vince Staples' Ramona Park Broke My Heart?
Third track. I know, I just want to start shouting out some songs right now. But I'm going to go ahead and pick Mama's Boy. So, people who know Vince Staples, and this is also just one of those interesting situations where if you're just listening to the album, this is your introduction to Vince or whatever it is. For those who don't know, Vince has a very close relationship with his mom, close enough where he's had just straight up Instagram live videos with him and his mom, and they cuss at each other and they're having a good time, and it's always funny. If you can look up some videos of Vince and his mom, I'm sure they're out there. But yeah, she's a character for sure. Vince is obviously a character, and they obviously have a great time. So to see a song like Mama's Boy is not really a surprise to me, but it's always, I think this beat is very different from the ones that I just talked about with Free the Homies and with Lemonade, and this is definitely like, I don't want to say a darker beat, but definitely like, he could have went a few different ways with this instrumental, but I like how he's saying, you know, I love this shit like my mama and all this other stuff, and I just like his approach to the instrumental. I like his raps. I just think this is just one of those songs that I don't even really listen to the lyrics too often, or not too often. I don't really listen to the lyrics of it. I kind of just get lost in the beat as well as the way Vince is approaching and how he's rapping a little softer on it, and then you just hear like the chorus. Like the only words, for example, that come to my head right now are like the chorus. And I have to like re-listen to it and really focus, see what he's saying, because I just get lost in it. And I think Vince does a good job of doing that. And it is a dope song. And yeah, man, Mama's Boy, I want to shout out, like, I love his homage to like DJ Quick on track 3, and I just think the chorus is also interesting there. If it don't make dolls, it don't make sense, DJ Quick. Like I said, like, he's shouting out rappers and producers and stuff throughout this album, and I enjoy that. Shout out to Vince. Really dope project from 2022.
That's not my third pick. My third pick is actually the last song, The Blues. And this is, as I listen to Vince and as throughout the years I've come to appreciate and know him and talk to him and hang out with him and all this different stuff, that's a recurring theme of how he kind of looks at life. No pun intended with his gang affiliation, The Blues, but it's just, that's how his mind works. Like, it's a melancholy, sober, somber realm of disappointment of society, his relationships, the streets, now the music industry that he talks about, some of his disappointment with that throughout Ramona Park Broke My Heart. It's just all these different things that are the key facets of his life, the key components of his life, that how they bring him different levels of disappointment. And I think it's interesting for me, at least, that Ramona Park Broke My Heart, it's the beginning song, the middle song, and the end song are the ones that really stood out to me, which is unusual for the most part for me and how I come to know, appreciate, and enjoy music. But this one, it just really stood out that way to me, and I think it's a testament to, like Amir and I were saying, we don't have any of the same 3 picks. So this is a very short album, even though it's a full album, and there's 6 songs that both Amir and I really think all his 3 picks are great ones. I just prefer my 3, obviously. But all these 6 songs, like most projects, most people that are putting out music in 2022 in this era are not going to have 6 songs that people like Amir and me, who listen to tons of music all day, every day, are going to be like, man, these are all great on one album. So I think that's just a testament to Vince, his artistry, and what he does. So, you know, The Blues, I thought was a good way to do it. And with the beach and the blues, it also kind of had the beginning and the end with kind of the sounds of the beach, like Summertime 06. So it also took me back to that, which is a phenomenal album. If you guys haven't listened to that, please do yourself a favor and go listen to Summertime 06, a masterpiece.
Amazing.
It's so good.
That's my favorite one, dude.
But
so great.
But I say all that to say, Vince, again, to me, is the best rapper that's come out 2010 or later. And I think he's just, again, with Ramona Park Broke My Heart, just showing the levels, the nuance, the evolution, and the styles that he's able to do and just bring out at the highest level. So that's my 3 picks. You guys got Amir's 3 picks. As always, hit us in the comments section. Tell us what you think are your 3 favorite songs on Ramona Park Broke My Heart. And if you haven't already, subscribe. If you haven't already, joined as a member. We really appreciate it. That helps both Amir and me and the rest of the good people that help bring Unique Access to you all the time. That just helps us. So please do that so we can get to that next level of the game. I'm Soren Baker.
Amir, Rahimi.
Great debaters, y'all. And shout out Vince Staples as always.
In the beginning, hip-hop was ruled by the East Coast. Then the West Coast rose to prominence, thanks to gangster rap.
Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube.
Hip-hop changed the world. Gangster rap changed the narrative.
I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world.
And then changed the world again.
Cause I'll come and take your life away.
The history of gangster rap features unheard stories, unseen photos and documents, all with exclusive interviews from the founders and players who shaped gangster rap.
I think a real gangster rapper has to scare you a little bit.
The history of gangster rap written by veteran rap journalist Soren Baker. In stores now.
Yo, what up? This is DJ Quick. Be sure to pick up my homeboy Soren Baker's book, The History of Gangster Rap, if you really want to know what we do.